Hi, welcome to Time for Tea Designs YouTube channel. It's Vic here today and I'm going to be taking you through the process on how I create a fun scene for my cards. So I'm going to be using products from the brand new release. I have the Stitch Window Die and the Perfect Day stamp set. So I'm going to be using the Stitched Window cover plate die and then the Perfect Day stamp set. So the paper I'm going to be using to stamp my images is Crafter's Companion and it's the Nina Classic Crest card. So I have my Misty here. I'm going to be stamping these images twice because I'm not sure how many critters I'm going to pop onto my cards at the minute. So I tend to do this, and then if I'm left with any extra images, that's great because then I can add them to another project. So I've got some Memento Tuxedo Black ink, just popping that onto my stamps, and then I'm just going to press down on my Misty and my images are all ready to go. So next I've got these little glasses. They're so cute. They're from the same stamp set. So I've just popped these onto an acrylic block and then I'm just going to gently press them onto the cat's face. So with the smaller stamps, I very rarely use my Misty for them. I find using an acrylic block much easier. I have more control. I find the Misty is just handy for doing the same images if you want to stamp them more than once. So you don't have to use a Misty obviously to stamp your images. So now I'm just getting on with my colouring. So I've used some neutral tones for my cats. And if you've watched my videos before, I just struggle colouring cats. I don't know what it is, but I seem to have got a little bit more confident, I suppose, when colouring them. So I've used mainly just some browns and greys for my cats, and then I've also gone ahead and coloured in the little accessories that I'll be using. So there's lots of plant pots and I think they look so cute. So like I said, I've stamped these images twice, so I've got lots of plant pots and also lots of cats to use for my card. So once all my images are coloured, I'm going to be using the coordinating dies. So if you haven't used these before, they come together attached. So this little blue wire cutters that I'm showing you now, you will need these to separate the dies. It only takes a couple of minutes, and once they're separated, that's it. So now to secure these down, I always add a bit of washi tape over the top before I run them through my die cutting machine. So once all them have been run through my die cutting machine, I've got that cover plate die. I've die cut that twice out of white card, and then I have this shiny blue card which is from PAPERMILLDIRECT, and I just love the colour and I thought it looked really cute. So the reason I've die cut this 3 times is so I can add the frame, so it's quite thick. You don't have to do this, it's just something that I prefer to do, and it gives the card a bit more dimension. As I'm adding lots of critters and plants, I wanted to add extra dimension. So I've already gone ahead and made my card base, and then I've also cut down a piece of white card. So I'm going to be using that white card and I'm going to be doing some ink blending. So I have a really pretty stencil. This is the Movie Star stencil, and I'm going to be using some Distress Oxide ink. So I'm using worn lipstick and I have my beautiful blender brush, and I'm just going to gently apply some nice pink ink onto this stencil. And I chose this colour because you can darken it up quite easily if you wanted to, or keep it light. I did go over this twice just to get a bit more of a darker impression. And there you can see the lovely stars. I think it's such a pretty stencil. So now I'm going to be using some PVA glue, and I've just applied that to the back of the frame, and then I've popped that onto the piece that I've ink blended, and then I've got my double-sided tape to adhere this onto my actual card base. And now I'm just going to figure out where to place all my little critters and images before I work on my sentiment. So I've used the sentiment, Hope Your Day is Perfect, and it's out of the same stamp set that I've used for all my critters today. and I'm going to be heat embossing, so I'm using Versamark ink, just popping this onto a piece of black card, and then I'm also going to be using some Wow embossing powder in bright white. So I'm just going to sprinkle that on. Any excess bits I'm going to wipe away with a paintbrush, and then I'm going to go ahead and use my heat tool to heat set this. And I also have the die to cut the sentiment out, which is what I love about Time for Tea. Joe designs things, and then there's also the sentiments that have the matching dies, so that's just brilliant. I've got some 3D foam tape, and I'm going to go ahead and pop all my images and sentiment onto my card using the foam tape. So this card does have a lot of dimension, which is what I wanted anyway. And that finishes up our card today. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I will leave all the products I've used listed down below, and thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye.